Hello everyone, this is Ben Pellom, and today we're going to take a brief trip through one of my websites that I use for planetary research. It's called PellomPlanetaryResearch.com, and we're on the home page right here, and you can see that beautiful image of Uranus. That is for another day. That is a very interesting discovery of mine, but we'll do that another day. So to start our trip through the website, I'm looking at lunar images in particular today. So we will just click on photos. That will bring us over to the list of planets. We'll go down to the moon, Earth's moon, and zap, there we are. We're on page 1. I'm going to spread it a little bit so we can see it really well and look through some of these images. This top picture here is a Hermite crater in the north polar area of the moon. As you can see, it's highly industrial, and it has the conveyance alleyway, I call it, where they must bring in the things that they need to bring in and take out the finished products. And it appears to be just some kind of a huge factory. But anyway, that's the first images of Hermite crater. This is a little bit more magnified version of it, so you can kind of see what that alleyway looks like there and how big the tanks and things are there. That's still Hermite crater. This is one of my favorites here. This is just, to me, it's just amazing. This picture here is in the north polar area also. It's called Plaskett crater. It has some of the most futuristic architecture of anything I've seen yet on the moon. And that's one shot of it right there, and then right under it is another. And what I'd like for you to notice is the structuring. It's you can see the windows, and it's framed by like a white wall and some very unusual symbols and things like that on it. So it's just beautiful. And it has also some tanks and things like that on it. If you note at the bottom of that picture down there is the alleyway that almost everything that you'll find on the moon up there has that alleyway. So that's Plaskett crater. This is another image here of Hermite crater. We can kind of see all these tanks. I don't know if they producing some kind of a chemical or a gas or bringing it in for use in manufacturing, because they say the moon is honeycombed. And I know Ileana Star Traveler, the lady on the YouTube channel, she says the United States Navy has operated the Lunar Operations Center up there for as long as she was in the secret space program. As she said, the Lunar Operations Center had 32 stories, all of it underground, of course. And many other people have talked about the moon being honeycombed. It's just like a bee gum up there. So here as we go down through here, we start seeing some things from the South Polar area. This is in the South Polar area. See, I don't have a name of a crater because it's not associated with a particular crater. It's just unusual design. And here's another one down there in the South Polar area. Some humongous equipment of some sort, machinery of some sort. It's so big and so different also. And we look again here for another Hermite crater. In this case, the alleyway is not present. I moved away from it and to get this picture. I wanted all these, get a shot of these tanks and things like that. It's in this picture. And then another one of Hermite Crater. You wonder why I have so many of Hermite Crater. It's just wonderful pictures. And it's beautiful pictures. Look at the alleyway here. All of the mechanical aspects of this alleyway is truly amazing. And then we jump down below that to back to the South Polar area. And we have the tunnelway. It looks almost like braided rope of some sort. It is so different. And then we go below that, and we're back at Hermite Crater again for another very nice image. And another one of Hermite Crater. And we'll jump back to Plaskett Crater. It's in the North Polar area. If I'm not mistaken, the Plaskett is in the North Polar area, but it's on the back side of the moon, up about the rim area. And there's that beautiful alleyway also in it, and some huge, look like huge tanks and things that are in this picture. Just a gorgeous place. And then we have, of course, the Hermite Crater again. I've got a lot of images of that. And then we have Plaskett, another beautiful image here from Plaskett Crater. Look at the architecture up in the right corner there, in that right quadrant there. It is really so amazing, so amazing. We don't know if that's industrial or either a combination of industrial and in where people live and whatnot and carry on business. Could be both. Could be both. This is a particular one here is a very interesting photo just to study sometime the different things that are in it. It's in the Plaskett Crater edge of it. This thing here looks like code, alphabet or something that the extraterrestrials have built there on the moon. It's on the back side, and it's in an area where the Russians put down their little vehicle on there to take pictures and whatnot. But I've looked in it. I've not been able to find two of those symbols that were the same. So I don't know the significance of it. It is topographic in nature, meaning that it's just buildings. It's some kind of unusual design. Under it, we're right back at Plaskett Crater again with another really beautiful image. Below that, we're in the North Polar area again, Plaskett Crater. Some more of that very unusual architecture that's there. When I get to the moon, this is the first place I want to go to, is the Plaskett Crater area. And another picture of it here. And another one. This is in the Plaskett Crater area here. This is back down at the South Polar Rim area. It's apparently at a greater distance, so we don't have the close-up shot. But you can see this appears to be machinery of some sort because of the way it's organized and parked and put in place. There's some kind of industry going on there in big time. And another beautiful image from Plaskett Crater. This one is again at the South Polar area. Some more of that very unusual architecture. And another one, South Polar area, and yet another one. See, look over to the right, the zigzag motion of the machinery or equipment they've got up there, looking at it from a distance. It's organized some way. They're doing something with it. It all points toward the alleyway there. And then under that, of course, we're back at Plaskett Crater again for some more of that beautiful architecture. And then another little quick trip back to the South Polar area. And here's the alleyway. In this case, it looks like a covered tunnel, like it's covered over for some reason here. And then this is one of my favorites here. it looks almost like braided necklace that a woman would wear. If you look at that closely, it's really, really, truly different, and it must be monstrous in its actual size. It's it is in the south polar area also of the moon. Another south polar area shot here that's quite interesting here, and one that's really busy here in Plaskett Crater, has a lot of tanks, a lot of industrial equipment in there. It's, as the old saying goes, it'd be hard to put a toothpick between these buildings. I've heard stories from different commentators that the moon, as it was split up among several different species or races of beings, and that it was land was at a real premium up there. So I guess that explains why this is so full and used. Every little square inch of it is used. I know one of the stories I heard early on was when the Mars Germans made a deal with the reptilians to get out of Antarctica and to get a grip or a hold or a place on Earth's moon. The reptilians gave them negotiated with them for 20 acres up there, and then of course the Germans had to kind of sell their soul in order to work that deal, because they had to furnish so much military designated in support of the reptilians' military efforts, and whatever the reptilians needed, the Germans had to commit to having so much military ready to go and so many ships ready to go. So that's kind of a story there that was kind of interesting. This is Plaskett Crater again. I drew in closely on this one so you see the monstrous, really super hyper futuristic looking machinery or production equipment of some sort. It would be interesting to know what kind of metal or alloys that are used to fabricate all of this equipment. No telling, no telling. That's at Plaskett Crater. And this one is in the North Polar area here. And then we have one here, another one. It's going to be the North Polar area is all I can say about it. It is in the North Polar area. And this one is another North Polar area. And look at the tanks in here. That is really amazing. The distance that the satellite pictures were taken from, these tanks must be monstrous. It must be humongous. There's some kind of a tremendous amount of industry going there. If you look up above, you see the alleyway up there at the top of the picture running horizontally there. And let's see, I'll skip on through here. I've got so many, could put people to sleep with this stuff. Another North Polar area here, and yet another one, and you can see up in the top part of that picture kind of a rainbow, in a rainbow type shape. You can see the unusual tanks or transport system. It looks like that may be the alleyway, but it looks like it's full. Something's being made or brought in and just left standing. Down under it is another North Polar area that's showing again that alleyway or the transport in, transport out system they've got there. And another North Polar area. And yet another one. This is Plaskett again, the beautiful place. Back at the South Polar area here, this is unusual. It has the rainbow type construction in it, and it's in the South Polar area. the picture just under it also is in the south polar area. Now under here, this is page 1. You'll see a video that I put in here. This is a screen capture video that I placed there for your use to show you how to go and locate and capture images in Hermite crater. I used that as an example. So on my website, you'll find this little short screen capture video that'll really get you going. It'll really get you going. And so I'm going to click on there to go to page 2, and then we'll kind of dance on through here. This is getting a little bit long. We're still at the North Polar area. The next picture is South Polar. And the next one is going to be, stretch it a little bit here, it's going to be also this is going to be Marlin, Mame, I guess it is, crater. It's in the North Polar area. And then we have another one in the South Polar area here, that humongous machinery that's in there. And again, South Polar here, very unusual looking stuff. This one here is at a great distance, but the alleyway is there, as you can see, and these aren't trees. This is machinery and equipment on both sides of this. And then this one I just put in there just because it had so many of those tanks in it. It's just full up. Most of these pictures are a little over a third of a mile wide, and from left to right on them, they come in at a little bit under 3/4 of 1 mile. So that gives you some idea how extensive these industrial yards are. And that doesn't give you the whole thing. It just gives you that roughly a third of a mile by 3/4 of a mile, a little snapshot of it. And then here's another one with a beautiful, looked like closed alleyway here in the South Polar area. And another one that just got the alleyway down through the center of it. And this one's interesting here if you look at the patterns, how they have their equipment grouped. For whatever reason, they've got it positioned in some very unusual ways, the way they've got it staggered and pointing toward the alleyway. Another one on all of the tanks and things that I spoke of. I zoomed in closely here. This is between Bird and Flory craters. It's in the North Polar area. I zoomed in very closely as you see, in order to show you how humongous a lot of this equipment is. There's no telling what that is or what it does. And another, looks like an enclosed alleyway here in the North Polar area. And this is another one between Bird and Flory craters. And it has the alleyway and yet another one. This one's kind of unusual. It's almost like it has like a camouflage pattern on it. It may be camouflage for all I know. But anyway, it has the alleyway, and it's in the North Polar area. Another one here between Bird and Flory craters. This one's quite interesting. If you look in the left center of it, all of the different things are stacked up, and some of them are tilted off to the right a little bit. And then if we look all the way to the right of it, it's got some really big, huge equipment over there. It's in the Bird and Flory, between Bird and Flory craters also. Another picture from that same area here, Bird and Flory craters. And this one here is in the North Polar area. It's a long distance shot, but you can see the alleyway at the bottom of it. It's you can't put a toothpick in there. And then here's another, yet another between bird and florey craters with some of that humongous equipment in there. And here's some more where I've drawn it up really closely. Extremely unusual looking things in the center of this picture. It's hard to even imagine what that is. But it's between bird and florey craters also in the North Polar area, North Rim area. Here's another one where the stacks are kind of tilted off to the right over here in the right part of this picture here, the way they got it all stacked up there. It's, again, bird and florey craters. There's quite a bit of stuff that I found in there. Check out this monstrous equipment here. It's also between bird and florey craters. Over to the right of it, there's some really serious, huge machinery over there that's it's in some kind of use, some kind of production use apparently. And then this is very unusual here. It's at a distance also, but you can see that it's intelligently designed and organized and positioned. They've got it positioned in some very unusual ways. It is in the Aristarchus crater on the, I'm trying to see, industrial complex Aristarchus. That's going to be in the north hemisphere. And it's really not in the north hemisphere. It's in about the middle of the moon is about where this is. So that ends the page 2 of our trip through the website. And again, at the bottom of the second page, I put that same video there for you that I made for you to use, and it'll let you, it'll tell you what you need and how to get there and how to capture your own images. And I'd like to see everyone seeing this little video that I'm making here actually go there and do that. So I'll skip out of there and go back to the home page, and then I'll go ahead and close out here. So have fun. Go up there and get your own images now.